Hey everyone, my name is Taps, and it's been a while, fam, but after taking some time for some crucial life happenings, I'm back and I'm ready for some content. So, OMI Price is down. The Veve NFT values are down. So the question remains, when will we see the value go up on both again? In this video, I'm going to cover a full price analysis on the markets, OMI Price, collectible values, strategy while the prices are down, and discuss when we'll be able to see those solid prices come back to fruition. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the community, feel free to subscribe. I'm a crypto stock and real estate investor, but never a financial advisor. So all the markets are down. I'm talking crypto, stocks, commodities like gold, oil is way up. Even real estate is in a slight dip. And it's primarily based off a collection of fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD. But this FUD is legitimate. I mean, the S&P 500 is down 500 points as of the turn of the year, which during the start of the pandemic back in 2020, it dropped 1,000 points. So we're halfway there. So pretty significant, the biggest dip on the S&P 500 in the stock market since 2020. We see continued falls on the Russell, US crude futures jumped, gold futures continue to fall, Bitcoin fell. And this is a collection based on the rising inflation concerns as well as the Ukraine and Russia conflict, which has a ton of global involvement that many are afraid could snowball into global conflict. So this is an unsettling time where many are afraid to continue to invest into things like crypto and NFTs for fear that financial turmoil could continue to snowball and get bigger. So people during these times gather up what they have, hold and wait. And the teeter-totter could tip either way, right? We could see a rebound or we could see further dips. So during this time, I mean, we're pretty down on a lot of crypto, a lot of NFTs. So it could dip a little bit more, but this is a pretty solid time to at least limp in. Like, don't go all in at this time, but if you're not allocating a piece of your paycheck or something, right? Like create like a payment plan or something where you're at least putting, maybe $500 every 2 weeks or a month or whatever into crypto or NFTs. Not financial advice, just thinking out loud. The question remains, when will the markets recover? Now, no one knows for sure until we see what is going to happen with the Russia-Ukraine conflict. There are rumors about some potential peace talks, but who knows if that's going to come, if there's going to be more that comes out of this with other rising kind of tension with China, among others. However, there was a study done last month that said many experts believe a rebound to 55,000 BTC is going to be coming in the next 6 months. Now, anytime I hear any analysts or someone say they believe we will recover in X amount of time or the bull cycle will end in X amount of time, I pretty much chop it in half to be conservative and to start making moves before when everyone thinks something is going to happen. And this could be similar to what we saw back in like May through September, which was when we were in a bearish run of the crypto bull cycle, where it could be another 4 to 6 months before we see that. But again, I'm banking on roughly around 3 months. And there are a couple key pieces that could turn the tide for a rebound in the next 2 to 3 months to consider. And then we're going to touch on OMI and the Veve Collectibles, but it's good to get a broader picture of what's happening in the markets because the stock market dictates what happens in crypto, as well as the price of OMI until we get actual utility and solid exchanges and catalysts for it. I mean, we really need to discuss when things are going to turn around because when you look at the price of OMI, it's not great, right? When we look at the prices of our collectibles, they are halved, some in thirds. The first major piece that could turn things around in the next few months is US President Biden executive order boosts prospects for cryptocurrency. So President Joe Biden signed an executive order aimed at cryptocurrency this week. It marked a pivotal moment in the history of digital currencies, taking Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptos a big step closer to someday becoming a legitimate financial option for all Americans. One industry observer told CBS, Joe Biden just gave the crypto companies the green light to exist. The relevancy of cryptocurrency becoming something that is mainstream that could overtake the US dollar fiat has been a fight for a long time, and this year has gotten a lot more relevancy, but the US president actively giving a executive order, that is relevancy. That is a step in the right direction. This won't happen overnight, but it gives steady footing for more to transpire over the next few months. The next piece is something that happens pretty much every single year, and that is the US tax filing deadline for 2021 taxes is April 18th, which is not great because a lot of people who did well in cryptocurrency and stocks and investments like myself last year. However, lots will also be seeing refund checks coming in May following on their tax return. Whenever people receive money back that they weren't expecting, what do they do with it? They usually spend it or invest it. The other piece is more and more of the vaccine mandates in states and countries, and even needing booster shots on some of the activities, places to travel, are starting to see lifting of those mandates and those travel restrictions. So that will create, again, people coming out, a lot more tension relieving, and this opens up the ability for more to make money. It's a collection of things, but as the Ukraine-Russian conflict hopefully tapers off and some of the peace talks start to happen, I believe we'll start to see some of the recovery happening in the next few months. Now, let's talk about OMI Price. I think most would have not expected this, but the OMI Price is back down to just about where it was a year ago. 0.0034 was where it was at back early March of last year. And now we are back here at 0.0037. Now, no one could have seen what was going to happen with this, world conflict, but we do know that inflation has been building and ready to rear its ugly head. And if you have followed TapsTrades channel, I've been saying for months that you should be stacking liquidity and that inflation is something to consider. No one saw the conflict coming, but again, we also thought that there was going to be a number of catalysts that are going to happen for OMI that have just not happened. So its current price, 0.0037, I mean, that's pretty much right at what my average buy-in price is. This sucks for short-term investors. Long-term, these are great price levels to keep stacking, and more OMI keeps burning as Veve Collectibles are still dropping multiple times a week and selling out every single drop in less than a second. The lower the price of OMI, the more OMI burns, and well over 1 billion OMI is going to be burning with the Pixar drop. But what about exchanges, right? We've heard about exchanges since summer of last year. Are they still coming, and will the price skyrocket once they come? It's a great question. I mean, we've been patient. We've been waiting for this to happen. In a recent AMA, Ecomi did say, yes, exchanges are still coming, but they mentioned some kind of queue that they're waiting for, which sounds like the dates are up in the air with a big question mark. Not to mention that Gate.io and OKX are still migrating GoOMI to ETH-based OMI. So there's been a lot of weirdness with exchanges. And I think announcing some of those new exchanges back in the top euphoria time back in January would have no doubt shot the price over 1 cent, maybe it touched all-time high. But announcing them now during uncertainty would still create uplift. But that uplift, I don't believe, would hold a ton of weight. So us shooting back up to that price without some kind of big change announcement on top of it is pretty unlikely. Now, I know you don't want to hear that, right? I know you want me to tell you that OMI is going to jump to $47 next year, but what's going to make OMI's price shine is ultimately utility. And they did say utility is not going to happen until probably sometime around June. Glass half full, you have a ton more time to stack your bags, get up to those high staking tiers that we know are going to be coming. Glass half empty, if you're looking to make quick money, there may be more ideal altcoins outside of OMI to do so. My strategy with OMI is I'm holding my bags until 2024, 2025, when we should go into a supply shock, and plan on selling my bags then for some life-changing profit. Now, on to the most consistent moneymaker so far, and that's Veve NFT collectibles. Obviously, the total values of our collectibles are down from peak euphoria where we saw them in January. So when will those return, right? Well, considering that MTL is happening. Veve said in the last AMA that they are continuing to onboard beta testers weekly, and those are random users. So randomly you receive an email letting you know that, hey, you can now cash out. You need 1,000 gems minimum balance in order to initiate that button, but make sure that you check your email to see if you were actually listed as a beta tester. This is most likely going to be happening over the next few months until everyone has access. Some will cash out and peace out, but by majority, people have seen just how much money they can make with Veve Collectibles. They believe in the company, they're a part of the community, they're in for the long haul. They know Veve is going to be a household name, and selling their collectibles before, or even the ability to flex their collection once the Veveverse is coming later this year. So where are we in terms of current price value? Well, again, charts on charts. So I'm here in Cherry Charts. I love this frickin' tool. Again, it helps me kind of see where we are in the market, and I can kind of see, all right, by big picture, are prices down, in my opinion, at selling levels, or are they going to be at buying levels? So by total market cap, we're at 1.23 billion. Now you can see where we dropped. We started at 1.24 billion for the month. We've dropped below 8 days where we were below that, picked back up a little bit. So there's slight rebound. But when you look at where we were in January is where we saw 2.1 billion total market cap. That is the largest we have ever hit. And it started trailing down once we hit that point on January 18th. And it held for quite some time around the 1.7 to 1.8 for several weeks into February, but then lost a lot of momentum, dropping down to February until we found the bottom of where we were around 1 billion to 1.2 billion. So by majority of total Veve collectibles, the value of them to basically 1/3 across the board, right? I don't really count 2.1. I say the average high point for Veve collectibles so far has been around 1.8. So now that we know that we're at 1.2 billion, that means, again, roughly 33% of the total value market is down. So I've been buying things because I know the market will return back to those levels eventually. And that's when you want to sell, when it's back up to 1.8, 2 billion, and there's peak euphoria again. I'm a numbers guy, always have been. So having charts like Cherry Charts, Ecomi Wiki, I mean, these help me see what's on sale, what's running hot, and when I can make solid flips. And by majority of the market, determine where we are at and when's a good time to continue to buy and continue to sell. So what will cause our collectible values to jump back up to those 1.8, 2 billion market cap values? Ultimately, we've been in kind of a lull, right? Like there's not been a ton of exciting drops happening, as well as, again, during a time where there's high FUD. So what will cause that reignition of extreme high values is going to be a collection of us coming out of that FUD, as well as important new updates happening that create a buzz, a spotlight, as well as key drops like the Pixar drop, like the next Rewind Collective that's coming, like potentially Star Wars coming, but also by majority, large catalysts are going to happen to Ecomi Veve big picture as well. Those things will help return the market to its high value glory, like localization, which we know is coming. Actively seeing your master collector rank and points is going to skyrocket, people scooping up sets and all that, and eventually that will happen. But again, who knows in the next couple months? The desktop version, they said in the last AMA, is in the staging phase, so that shall be coming soon, and that will create some new users as well. And obviously the ability to cash out, right? I still have tons of friends who have saying like, yeah, it makes sense, man, it's awesome, but until I can actually get hard dollars, it doesn't make sense to do it. Even though I know I'm missing out, even though you're showing me you've stacked up X amount of dollars based on your collectibles, until you have the proof in the pudding, still people on the sidelines. Once everyone's able to cash out, once it's no longer beta testers, which will be coming the next few months most likely, it gets rid of that asterisk next to being able to cash out. And let's not forget, the Veve drops are still selling out in less than a second during peak fear in all of the markets, and our values are still holding up relatively well compared to any other crypto in most other NFTs. So in summary, I believe OMI has a few more months of bouncing around at these lower levels, even when exchanges are announced, but Veve collectibles could change the tide in the next month or two. But overall, still at this point, until we get utility, Veve NFT collectibles tend to be the more valuable move over OMI. But again, that extreme difference in value could shift once we actually have that utility with OMI coming near summer. In the interim, I'm enjoying paying almost half the price for the collectibles that I really wanted just under 2 months ago. And it's a lot easier buying 1 million OMI for $3,700 versus $8,000, which it was at just 2 months ago. So stay strong, Veve fam, and remember that we've been at these levels before. And patience isn't easy, but we know that we're tied to a strong company and it will pay off. As always, I hope you found my content valuable, and if so, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. The likes and comments appease the algo overlords and help my channel continue to grow. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell for future content. That's it for today. I'm Taps. Thank you for your time, man. Happy trading.